In Kentucky news, Churchill Downs Incorporated is suing to stop what it's calling a threat of being shut down. The company joined the New York Racing Association in filing a federal lawsuit in Western Kentucky earlier this week. Both groups claim the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, or HISA, illegally and unfairly changed its fee structure. According to the lawsuit, Churchill says it's now being asked to pay nearly $2 million or risk having to stop racing at both Churchill and Ellis Park, which is in Henderson County. HISA is the federal agency that oversees horse racing. State Senator Damon Thayer, a horse racing enthusiast who has worked in the horse racing industry, fully supports Churchill Downs and the New York Racing Association suing HISA.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I share the goal of HISA to have standardized rules across multiple state jurisdictions. 13 years ago, I passed a bill in Kentucky to allow us to participate in an interstate compact with other states where we could implement those uniform rules. Unfortunately, no other state took me up on my offer, and now we have the federal government overseeing horse racing, which I'm not particularly thrilled with. It's to be fair, it's the only thing I really strongly disagree with Leader McConnell and Congressman Barr on. Because
you don't agree with there being a HISA?
I don't.
Yeah.
Well, not under its current form. The implementation has been, it's been bad. The implementation is uneven. It ignores due process. They have no transparency on their budget. And as we find, they're asking states and racetracks to continue to pay for their operations, some $80 million a year, with no transparency on how it's funded. On my last day in the Senate, on the floor, the Kentucky Senate adopted a resolution that says HISA should be paid for by the federal government. Mm-hmm. If HISA is going to be forced upon us by the federal government should pay for it. It should not be the responsibility of the states, because that is going to mean racetracks, horsemen, owners, trainers, jockeys, and the racing fans who make the whole engine go. They're going to end up paying for HISA with increased fees or deductions from purses. And I fully support Churchill Downs and the New York Racing Association suing HISA. I think we need to bring this thing to a head, and I think it's very likely that the Supreme Court of the United States is going to take up the constitutionality of HISA in the next 12 to 18 months. And if it does, I think there's a 50 to 60% chance that they find all or part of it unconstitutional, which will then force everyone to the table to try to come up with a better way to do this.
In June, though, the U.S. Supreme Court chose not to take up a case challenging the agency's constitutionality. U.S. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell and Congressman Andy Barr helped push HISA through Congress in 2020.